we're so hungry for our executive master pro 10's words of wisdom, because you guys blew, as far as I'm concerned, because I was just down. I mean, when he was at the stage, guys, I was down there in my seat, and envisioning myself, really following this man. And if he can do this with all of his stories and backgrounds, my goodness, hardships in life, breaking through all their barriers in life, and still remain standing still, guys, that's, you're just gonna have to ask yourself, how bad do you want this? Do you want this as much as you want to breathe? Then if the answer is yes, you guys, then of course you're gonna make it, because you die if you can't breathe, right? So basically, we have a humble leader, servant leader, who is willing, guys, who is willing to pass on his legacy to us in terms of training, in terms of the things that he have actually experienced in the past, that hopefully we can correct those errors in the past, that we don't have to stumble into those mistakes anymore. Although there's no perfect in life, nothing is perfect, we are not perfect. So and the real deal is that it's actually okay. It's actually better for me. It's better to experience some failures and pains along the way in our remarkable life vantage journeys, because if there's no pain, you guys, you just made it so easy to step up to the elite pro 7s or 8s and above. Then what's your story? How are you going to inspire people when you are at the stage? How are you going to give hope to the many, right? So I want you to really set your goal. That's the reason why we called upon Pro 3s and above, guys. Pro 3 is a foundational rank. And that is important for me and Blue to be able to sustain you guys and really stick with this. Commit yourself until we meet up at the finish line. We meet up at the very top. Okay, and so without further ado, Blue is always been respected, highly respected, guys. We've got a voice with Blue, because Blue is a type of leader that is very, very sincere, honest, and he will be here for us to have a voice. Okay, and so without further ado, Blue, this is our first Pro 3 leadership meeting. So this is a different kind of like level for all of you guys. So I want you to get your pen and paper, really dig deep into these words of wisdom, and learn how to master your skills. Take it away, Mr. Blue Elam, the man of the hour. Thank you.
Awesome. Can you guys hear me okay, Kai?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you for all you that have your cameras on. You guys are beautiful, and it's fun to see. And I'm starting to recognize some of you because we got to see you on Zoom a few times. Also got to come spend time and shake hands and take photos and give hugs and handshakes and meet your families. And it was awesome. So I was just running to go get this. Someone left this for me when I left. It's the little jeepney they left me from the Philippines. So it's, I laugh because it says 3 and above years old. So I think I qualify, and then I was looking at the pastries, and some of these are just the old boxes from certain things. Somebody gave me the 7D mangoes I got. I was laughing because, and then the chocolate from there as well. I've been laughing because every time I come home from a trip, excuse me, my kids want to know, what did you learn? Show me the area, show me photos, and so we always have a little. We call it our family home evening. We all meet together, and I get to show photos of places we went and people we met, and it's inspiring. It's one of my whys, if that makes sense, right? Sometimes we do this early on to get our businesses and our finances in a position to have. For me, it was to say yes more to my kids, to have a little more, to do a little more for them and with them. And then I think there's a point that we become comfortable and we can pay bills, and then we start to be successful. And I'm not sure exactly where those ranks are. It kind of depends. One time I told somebody that we had tripled our income, and we had done it in a few months, and it was this big story, and they were looking at me all surprised, and they said, "How did you triple your income so fast?" And I said, "Well, if you start with a very low salary to start with, it's not hard to triple it. Right? If the amount isn't very big, tripling it is very easy. So when a doctor thinks of that, or a lawyer, or someone who's making very good money, using this to triple that very quickly might be very shocking to them. But it's absolutely possible, right? No matter what you're making, this has an ability, in my opinion, to get us out of whatever situation we're in, and maybe into a position to say yes more to our kids, to say yes more to our spouses, to be with them more, to raise our own kids, to not be forced to have our kids be raised maybe more by a school system or by some other system that's out there. So anyways, we all have reasons. And one of my reasons is to travel, to see the world. The only downfall was my wife wasn't able to come. That's typically what makes it special to me, is she gets to come and meet all of you, and we get to talk together. We get to show you, physically show you what it's like to have finances to do that and travel, and the health, right? What is the two things we're offering? We're offering better health and better finances on a system that is consistent and leveraged. And it allows things that we did years ago to lead to activities today. And what I mean by that, I'm going to start with a concept, and then I got a really big training topic I want to hit on today. But the concept is, what if years ago, and I should probably, Kai and I should probably talk and get a little more of the details of when we first met and when she got involved. But what if you look back at some of the things that took place years and years ago with her and I's decision, with my personal decision, my wife's decision, signing up Chris Michaels, who led down to Kai, you start looking at our personals who led down the line to everyone on this call today. There was a lot of people in there that did a part. And I don't ever forget that. I don't forget even the people that did a part for a month and then left. They're part of our special story, right? They're part of your story. They're part of why you're here. They're part of why you found LifeVantage, was because someone led to someone who led to Kai, who loves and cares about you guys. And if I knew your teams better, I could say that led to you, that led to someone on your team who loves and cares about you, so on and so forth. The process is amazing. I don't know of any other business. I've done construction. I've built houses. I fixed cars. I don't know of anything else that has that kind of connection, that kind of relationship, and that kind of longevity when we talk about friendships and family and actually making people better, right? And connecting with people. So just maybe a long way to say thank you for being on, and thank you for welcoming me to your country. Thank you for allowing me to be there. All these special gifts just remind me of the actual fun times of getting to know you and looking into your guys' eyes and feeling some of the pain, feeling some of the hurt, feeling some of the optimism, the potential, the what ifs. All of those things are part of what drives me now to do this, because I really believe that if we wanted to, we could turn off our Zooms and throw our phones in the trash can and be okay for a long time. But that doesn't drive me. I didn't do this to not do nothing. I did this so that I could make a difference. And I feel like we are doing that the more we get together and train each other and work together and do that. Now, I don't profess to know everything, especially when it comes to Philippines. Kai will be a very good resource when it comes to specifics and details and points on products and all the stuff that I could figure out, but I just haven't spent the time specifically in the market. Now, conceptually, building, working with people, I feel like that's where I have the most to offer. So that's what I'm going to try to share the most about, and then Kai can take it from there. So with that being said, who here remembers at the end of the conference, we talked about MVP? Hands up if you remember MVP and if you've thought about that a little bit. And my only downfall is I wish we announced it at the beginning so that all of us could have talked about it the whole time. Problem was we couldn't talk about it till they announced it, and they waited to the end because it was such a big announcement. But I think at the end it got mentioned. And I don't know since then how much it's got promoted or pushed. But if I had one piece of advice that I had to pick out of everything for you to focus on. Obviously you guys were focused on Croatia and points, and there was all these other things. I understand those are important, but if I could help you feel inspired to do and focus on one thing that will make the biggest long-term difference in your business, it would be MVP. Okay. And here's why. Number one, it's going to teach you all the phases of your business. We've already talked about those phases. I know we have Pro 3s tonight, so some of those might not have been mentioned or discussed in detail. And we can go back through those. I'll touch on them a little bit tonight. But it teaches you all those phases. Number one, it teaches you how to find, right? To learn to invite people correctly. And it teaches you the second phase, how to teach. And it teaches you the third phase, how to mentor. Each of those phases of the MVP, I think, require additional skills in those areas in order to accomplish the bronze, the silver, or the gold level in MVP. Little history on MVP, the active, or when I say active is not the right word. The paid as Pro 10s, the Pro 10s that hit Pro 10 and they're still Pro 10s are on a committee. And when we get questions like what's going to make the biggest difference long-term in businesses, what's going to grow the business, what's going to double the amount of elites in the company right now to help us hit our financial goals, and on and on and on, all the Pro 10s put their heads together, and what did we come up with? MVP, right? We came up with a concept that says if people will go out and build correctly, build by first learning to do this themselves, learning to invite, learning the process, and then doing the work, phase two. And then the last thing is to teach that and to be able to be a mentor. If we learn to do all those things, I think we can put pieces together and build true leadership, build people, not volume, build people. Remember from stage, I made a little point of that. And I don't want to hurt anyone's feelings because there's a lot of people focused on volume right now, and volume is important. It represents people. It represents more people being healthy. It represents a lot of things. So I'm not against any numbers or that. Don't hear me wrong, but understand that what I want to help build is people. You build people into transfer them from followers to leaders, and we're going to give you something that you can use forever. We're going to give you skills and give you the clout, if that's the right word, the posture, the confidence, right? I wish I was good enough with Philippines. I could go back and forth like you guys do and speak a little bit to English to me and then a little bit Tagalog to you guys, back and forth. But the posture, to be able to look at somebody and have confidence, is a skill that if you can learn and adapt and earn, if you would, and develop, I think that skill is the biggest thing that we could give and help you develop here. And the MVP helps you to do that. Now, if you remember MVP, let's just review it real quick. What does it take? And you guys can unmute to answer these. We want to have a little bit of conversation. I want to see some of your guys' excitements and what you know about MVP. What does it take to hit the bronze level of MVP? To be bronze qualified, what do you have to do?
Simple. Maintain your 200 volume points, and then you've got 3 directs with 200 points. That's it.
Okay. 3 directs, right? Personally sponsored, 200 points. One question I have is that there's second month orders, I'm going to call it, right? Subscriptions is the second part of this training that I want to touch on. And I know I learned a lot about that down there. I know some of the challenges, and I understand some of the differences with credit cards and things. We also had a lot of conversation with the corporate staff and Steve, which was there, which was awesome, on some possible solutions and direction. And I didn't get a chance to see where all those are at about doing bank deposits and having a subscription and being able to still use cash. And we'll figure it out. But I'm going to teach the concept tonight, regardless of where we are in that process, because whenever that gets figured out, you're going to find that your business will be super, super strong and consistent and reliable if you can learn the word subscription and your team chants that word. I don't care if they're 50 levels below you. If they're the ones teaching about subscriptions, you're going to have a business that will be different than no matter what country you're in and what the traditions are. It will be different. It'll be hands off a lot more. It'll be more consistent. It'll be something you can depend on. And I fast forward a little bit tonight. I'll get back to the training. But when my wife and I woke up in the hospital and found out that our daughters were paralyzed, I can't imagine if I didn't have our team on subscriptions when I had to deal with that stuff. If I was in the hospital for 6 months or in rehab for 4 months, can you imagine having a big list of to-do items or product to go purchase or to drop off or to deliver or to ship? Man, I don't know. I just can imagine how hard it would be to focus on the important things if we didn't set our business up correctly. On the other hand, I can tell you it was amazing to focus on my daughters, to focus on my wife, focus on my other kids. Money just showed up because everyone was on subscriptions, right? And I say everyone, meaning a very high percentage. I think our team is way, way high percentage wise. They purchase each month. They know what they want. They can change those orders to mix and match and change products and things, but they're very consistent in ordering. And if you get personally on a 200 points, right? And you get 3 directs or 3 personal sponsor that you sponsor to be on the same 200, then you hit bronze MVP. Okay. Super important because it gives you everything you need to know the first. What had to happen for you to get to bronze? You had to, first of all, you had to know what you wanted. You had to make some goals. You probably wrote down some names and made a database. You invited them. You had them taught, or you taught them or sent them to somewhere to be taught. They might have went to Kai Hayes meeting at the corporate office or wherever, right? Or on Zoom, but they learned, and then you followed up, and then they were enrolled, answered questions, resolved concerns, and enrolled. All of those steps happen in that process. So when you enroll 3 people, we know that there was a lot of work done. We know you've already started developing skills, or else those 3 people wouldn't be here yet. And if you haven't found 3 people personally yet, it's okay. Maybe you found them, but they didn't get on subscription, right? They didn't get on the consistent points to qualify. And so maybe that's the piece you got to learn. But whatever it is, finding the 3 people starts the process of us learning the business. Typically, we don't find the 3 people by ourselves. Typically, we're locked arms with one of our support team, and that's how we find the 3 people. We find them by bringing them to the information, not necessarily being the information or having the information. A lot of times we just bring them to the information. And I call that the learning phase, right? The inviting and enrolling phase. We just bring them and put them in front of the right people. These road shows you just mentioned, I saw a little bit. Great opportunity to let somebody else's skills and experience and knowledge of the products in the company benefit you by you putting people in front of that information. Okay. Getting to bronze, number 1, great qualification, and something that I recommend be a focus and a priority in your goal setting, in your conversation with your leaders, and your focus on how to build. Because just saying somebody enroll 3 people, I know it sounds easy. That's what we want. But the reality is, in order for you to do that, there's going to be a lot of training and a lot of conversations to get all those other pieces in your skill set to be able to do that. That's number 1. Number 2, what does it take to get to silver? Same thing. Let's just talk about, what do you guys know? What does it take to get personally to a silver MVP?
Still the same, 200 PV subscription and 9. So the 3 should produce 3 3s. So it will
Okay,
make 9.
perfect. So the 9 is a key number. And I think the biggest thing you said is the 3 produce the 9, right? That's the biggest key. Now, why? Because number 1, if you are really good at enrolling and you could put 3 and then you could enroll 9, that's awesome. That's 12 people that you personally enrolled. But that's not what I am talking about. Developing people, developing long-term leaders that will run your business. If something happens, will run their business, I should say, which in turn keeps your business strong, like ours was when we ended up in the hospital. No one showed up at my house to run my personal business. They all just ran their business. Kai was doing her business. Chris Michaels was running his business. Everyone was doing their own thing because they had learned how. They didn't need me there to help them or to do it for them or with them. They were just doing it because they were leaders and they were running their business. And it in turn allowed us to be very, very comfortable in a very, very uncomfortable time with my family. being in the hospital, watching them go through learning how to do everything from eating to getting dressed to going to the bathroom again. Being paralyzed from the waist down changes a lot of things. Amazing to have the terminology, help the 3 find the 9. Okay, so what that means is we develop 3 bronzes, right? We help each of those 3 people hit the bronze level by finding and enrolling and being directs, like you said, and having the subscription, that's the word I want to have here, to the 9 people so that you hit the silver. Now, it's powerful hitting silver. We've had a lot of people, a few do it. The very, very first ones were in our group, personally. We and I actually, Robin Summer, you might have heard of, they have an amazing story. And they called me the other day and said they just enrolled a couple people in the Philippines and wanted to know if they could jump on some trainings or help with trainings and things like that. So very inspiring, and someone that we could probably bring Chris and Rob and Summer onto these calls soon, and then maybe combine a little bit of these teams so that we can get a lot of not just inspiring stories, but we're talking leaders that are in the trenches doing exactly what they're telling people to do, right? Awesome stuff. So that's just in the future, kind of fun. So we developed 3 bronzes, the 3 that we enrolled, we help them become bronze and we hit gold. Okay, now we have the 3, our number 1 ourselves. Then we have the 3, which makes 4, right? And then we have the 9, which gives us 13 total. Where, how do we hit the gold level? What is our role? How does our role change from silver to gold?
May I?
Go ahead. It's fine. We can all talk. You bet.
So 3 for the silver, then I for the bronze, then another 3, that is 9 for the silver. Then the gold, those first tier, the A, should have 3, then that 3 should produce another 3. So the total will be 27.
Correct.
That's
27.
200 BB.
Correct, for each of them. And that's where it gets tricky, because it's actually about 40 people, right? Because you have 27, you have the 9, you have the 3, you have yourself. So here's my challenge, and that's it's not easy. When we told corporate that's what we want, we actually had a 5 by 5 by 5 system, and to do it right, in my opinion, because I think it takes 5 by 5 by 5 in order to end up with 3 by 3 by 3, because there's no way we're going to find the exact 3 who are the runners to find the exact 9 who are all runners. Typically it takes 10 to find the 3 that are going to run, right? That's a side note. We'll talk more about that later. But yes, that is, and thank you for explaining that. It's kind of hard, the 3 and the 9, the 27. But here's what I really want to point. It's not even just the numbers. What I want to really focus on, for you to find 3, you have to learn certain things. For you to help those 3 find their 3, you probably have to be a teacher, because they're going to do the inviting. They're going to bring people to those presentations. They're going to be brand new, excited, but they're not going to have the knowledge that they need to necessarily enroll those 9 people, or 3 each. So if you're the teacher, and I'm going to use Kaya as an example, because I know she will put herself in a position in a Zoom, or I'll use the corporate office for a little bit more of a personal visual. When you guys bring someone to the office, they can sit there and get taught by a leader who is in the teaching phase, right? And they enroll and they're on your team. And it allows you to bring somebody. But I would suggest that eventually those 3 people you signed up are going to need help. They have databases full of people. They might have 100 names on their phones or on a piece of paper waiting to hear the message. And your job becomes the teacher, to introduce them, educate them, and help them make an educated decision, resolve concerns, and help them to enroll their 3 people. So your role changes. Now, I'm going to suggest that it's a very different role too. When you have 3 people that you enrolled doing presentations for the 9, right? Your role changes, because you might have those 3 presenters handling those presentations, but you become a mentor. Your job is to start developing more people with the confidence to do those presentations. And I believe those that hit gold in this company are going to have a very, very strong and stable business And when I talk about your grandkids saying thank you, that's what I'm talking about, is something where it doesn't all fit on your shoulders, because you've developed leadership backed by leaders, right? We call it building depth, right? In a couple of organizations, the concepts in network marketing. If you read any book about network marketing, you're going to see the word depth. You're going to see the concept of developing leaders, and you're going to see this concept of not working just with your personals, but working down into organizations and helping develop leadership as far down as you can, because that becomes security. It becomes, if you end up in the hospital, right? Not everyone's calling you on the phone or just not doing anything. They have other people to call. They have other people to support them, because they're in a very, very good position. So number one, I just want to make sure that we're all setting goals to hit bronze and then silver and then gold MVP. And it's interesting that you notice how I didn't even talk about the payout at each one, because I'll tell you my opinion, and you guys might disagree a little bit. Kai can probably show you the amount of finances that you get, the payout at each one for those points. I don't know the exact with the Filipino pesos and the exchange and all that. But I will say that money will be valuable. So don't leave it out. Hitting bronze and getting paid each month, hitting gold and silver, or silver and then gold. There's a lot of finances there that I think will get people's attention. But you probably won't hear me talk much about those temporary, because I think they're more temporary. What I want you to build is called digging the well before you get thirsty. Digging the well, meaning that you're digging down to something that provides a holding tank, right? In this case, I'll use finances, but it's a holding tank of leadership, of knowledge. It's built and it's developed, and you're holding it, and you own that. So when we ended up in the hospital, I woke up, realized my two daughters were paralyzed. My wife wasn't going to walk. She had a prosthetic. She was going to probably have to get her leg amputated and use a prosthetic, which took a while before they actually did that. But what an amazing change. I mean, just hard, right? I got 4 kids at home trying to figure out. One of my poor kids at school was told that their dad died on the freeway because they saw some picture on Facebook. So my poor son went for a few hours at school thinking that I was passed away. And it was tough, but one of the things that made it easier was to be present. I didn't have to go to work, worry about stuff. I didn't have to go show up and worry about bills. And, the lady would come in. One time she came in real embarrassed to talk about the bills that had to be paid. Can you please write us a check? And my daughters are paralyzed. We can barely walk. And the rehab guy wanted to chase the lady out of there, say, leave these guys alone. They're busy. they're working to be healed. They can't be worried about paying bills. And my wife was real sweet. She just said, no. Just talk to my husband and he'll write you a check, whatever you need. We're not trying to get any of this for free. We're here because we need it. But it was just amazing to have that not be one of the issues. Does that make sense? There's enough issues when you're dealing with that many changes in your family and your girls, and trying to figure out vehicles, and I need ramps. I need to change the doors in my houses. I need to find a new room. I need to change the bathrooms in my house. A construction project went on. My vehicles, I had to buy a van that had a ramp because we had 3 people in wheelchairs, 8 in our family, 8 people, and then 3 people in wheelchairs, right? We had to go buy, we call it the bus. It's a big van that has a lift. That was because we were MVP, right? Before they had MVP, we didn't have a name for it. We just called it building leader backed by leader backed by leader. And so the concept that you guys are now building is the exact thing that we focused on as young leaders. It's the exact process on how we built our business. We first learn by bringing them to presentations, and then we allow them to bring people to our presentations. And that might be as a group still. Kai might be helping run and host those, but a lot of you on this call can step up and do those and not wait. We don't want to ever wait for someone in our leadership group to do that, because if I can't be here except for once a month, I don't want our businesses to only move once a month. Kai will be here, almost daily probably, and many of you will be there hourly and every minute for your teams. And that's what allows our groups to not have to wait for those others. And as you may not understand that now, but in our group right now, After one meeting one time, I had over 150 people call me to introduce themselves because someone passed out my phone number. And that's how many people tried to get me to call. And it took me like 2 weeks to call them back. And some of them felt like, oh, these pro-10s don't listen. It took 2 weeks to call me. They had no idea that we had 150 people to phone call, right? So it's not because we don't love you and care about you and want to help. It's because we can only handle a certain amount of influence and reach. Kai will have her certain amount of influence and reach. And believe it or not, it's a lot because the more energy we have, the more excited, the technology we have, we can do a better and better job. But nothing will change the difference of developing people, because pretty soon we're going to need 10 Kai Hayes on this group. We're going to need 10 Pro 9, Pro 8s, Pro 10s on this group to handle the volume that's coming. I can't handle it alone. Kai can't handle it. Each one of you won't be able to handle it for your own teams alone, because you'll have to develop those other leaders to be there, especially if life happens and you have something happen. Imagine having to be in the hospital or just wanting to be with somebody. Maybe a parent had, in my situation, my dad had cancer and I needed to spend time with him for 3 months. We went fishing and I got to be with my dad before he passed away. Priceless time. I mean, I wouldn't change it for anything, but it was amazing to be able to do that and not have my business suffer because I chose to do something that was more important at the time. That is what happens when we dig our well. That's what happens when we focus on MVP. Okay, so tonight we're going to just kind of leave it at the concept. We'll let you guys develop some strategy and some focus. Learn, do, teach. First, you got to learn it, bring people. Second, you got to teach it, right? This concept of mentoring has to be third. Eventually, you jump on a call like Kai and I, we mentor people, we mentor leaders, and we jump off, and the hour-long mentorship that we gave goes to hundreds of thousands of people, literally. That's what's cool, is you don't have to necessarily touch the hundreds of thousands. You just have to get to the leaders of the hundreds of thousands, and it'll get to them. And that's when you have a true influence, you have a true value, and your businesses will be on a different kind of I don't want to say autopilot. That's probably not compliant to be an autopilot business. But what I mean by is to have a legacy type business when your own efforts are kind of detached from the success of your business. That's kind of an interesting thought, because growing up and working hourly and working construction, if I didn't show up, I didn't get paid. This industry is different. You can get paid without showing up eventually. You got to show up for a while. You got to show up and train and mentor and teach and educate and develop other people. And then you can become a resource to them, an influence to them, and let them help you learn some things. I mean, I learn from you guys every day. And then hopefully long-term, you end up in a position that you're very, very secure and safe and happy because you have not volume under you. That's not what makes you feel secure. You have leaders under you. You have people willing to go the extra mile for their own people. You have people willing to make that last phone call at midnight to make sure to close out a month. You have people willing to go out and figure out a strategy to get to MVP. You might have 4 gold MVPs on your business in different legs. That's what I'm excited about. We have people running for MVP in 5 different legs. When we have golds in every leg, you want to talk about a very safe and secure long-term business. That's what helps develop those, are not volume, but people. So those are the main things I wanted to share. Another thing is, I know it's going to come up. I'll just answer it. We don't have a date yet. My wife and I were looking at the calendar today. She wants to go so bad. I showed her a lot of really pretty pictures. It helped her to really want to go. It was helpful for us to go over to El Nido and the resort and take some pictures, and she just fell in love. Her favorite place, we went for our 20th anniversary. We went to Bora Bora, and we got to spend some really good time without the kids and just reconnect and talk. It was very, very exciting. And everywhere she looked at, she said, that looks just like it. That looks the same. It was fun to have a similar feel and a connection. So just know that we're aware of you guys. We'll be on these calls. We'll be on talking to Kai on anything we can help with. And then when we can, we'll let you guys will be the first to know. Kai will be the first to know when we do have some dates scheduled. We would love to be part of possibly a road show or a tour. And then we would also like to take some time, and we'll probably find some pretty places like El Nido to go hang out for a few days and enjoy the other piece of what we enjoy is that little retirement piece and finding our true why, which is helping people. But we also did it to reconnect and not have to worry so much about the little things in life and just enjoy it. So I hope that's a little inspiring as well, because I was interesting to find how many people hadn't been to El Nido, right? And I guess it's similar. I mean, I was older when I went to the Grand Canyon and I lived in Arizona, right? I think sometimes those cool wonders of the world are next door. We think they're so close, we'll just get to them later. But when I realized how many of those went to El Nido that had never been there, I was kind of impressed and shocked, and a little sad that maybe we just missing some of those things, and excited that maybe we can add that to our list. Right, that's not very far for you guys, and probably not a lot when I looked at how much they actually cost and what you got out of it, and the food and the excursion. I actually looked at some of those. It was very impressive. It was beautiful, and what I mean by not a cost, I know there's it's a lot, but compared to some of the places I've been to, I was impressed with this amount of service and hospitality and respect from your people. And the Filipinos were amazing. The language is beautiful. The songs they sang were beautiful. Just to give you an example, and I'll end with this. When I left, I was sad because I had to leave a little bit early, one day early. So I ended up being on a boat all by myself going back to the airport. All the other people stayed. They were waving and saying bye and saying to me. And then I got to the resort and I got all my bags and I left. And as I left, there was one person there that got to the pier and stood out there and just waved goodbye. And I remember looking back 5 or 6 times. I was as far as you could go, and I could barely look back and see the little dock. And this little girl, so nice, she's still waving, just to me, because I was the only one on the boat. You talk about feeling special, right? When you have people care about people that much to just make them feel different and special, you guys will keep that. That's the culture I want to add from the Philippines into our Life Vantage culture. There's parts of our culture I don't want to lose because we've developed it, we've worked hard for it, and it is different and it's amazing. And Kai, every now and then, if you guys pull the wrong string, you'll see her get defensive over that culture, right? and it's not a bad thing. And I say that very respectfully because that's what the top leaders do. All of us feel like this is we're like mama bears watching our little baby cubs, right? Because we know we've developed something special that no one has. And you'll find out that when you are in line with the culture, it feels so good with families, and our kids are important, and the longevity of our businesses are important. We're not talking about the importance of having a subscription, except for the fact that it'll help your business be here 10 years or 20 years from now, not just 1 year from now, right? We care about all of you, and we're teaching you things. When you say teach you things that we learn to make your business go faster, that's the things we're teaching. Why would I focus on MVP and subscriptions if that didn't work? Why would be my motivation to give you that as the best training I can give you tonight if it wasn't the best training that I can think of out of everything that's out there, right? So just think about that. We take care of it, but I will say that there's some things we would love to add. If we could add your guys' hard work, hospitality, and that ability to care for one person and to think about them and to make them special, I came away a better person and wanting to do that better. And I know that wasn't, some of that was from you individuals that I got to meet. Your heart, your excitement, your positivity. Even when we go through a lot of hard times, you're still smiling and happy. And I've tried to develop that here on my teams, going through a lot of heartaches with my family and my girls and watching them hurt, but still being positive and turning it into something positive. We try hard, but you guys are also living that in a whole different way. I'm excited for your futures. I know we got Pro 3s and above. I hope pretty soon this call is so big that we have to break it into pieces and do 3s one night and 5s one night and 7s one night. Maybe we'll have different conversations just to because there's too many people. But and I can prepare a little bit better too, knowing that this group is a little bit smaller. We might be able to do a little more interaction and discuss things better and do some more personal training. But for tonight, I do have another call too here in a little bit. But I just wanted to say thank you, Kyle. I'll turn it back to you. I'll listen as long as I can tonight and let you close up the call. But thank you all for being on. MVP and subscriptions. If someone says, what was the call about? It was about getting to the gold status of MVP as fast as I can so that I can have a business 20, 40, 50 years from now. Hopefully, we can talk about giving this to our great grandkids and having our great grandkids say, you know what? I was so grateful that great grandma or great grandpa was smart enough to work hard in a business and build it right. Right. My goal is to hear one of my great grandkids use the word MVP when they talk about me in the future. That would be my goal. Because my great grandpa knew what MVP was, that's why we were blessed today. So anyways, I hope that helps. I love your smiling faces and thank you. I'll get my other stuff done. I'll listen in a little bit and then I'm going to have to jump off in a little bit to get on my other call. But Kai, back to you. We love you all.
Thank you, Blue. Thank you. And at a very short period of time that you have visited Philippines, I can tell that the Filipinos have captured your heart. So I am certain that Raylene, your beautiful wife, will definitely go nuts about Philippines, especially take her to El Nido for that beautiful white sand beach. Oh my goodness. And guys, we have this man of the hour that's just speaking from the heart, and my goodness, you know, it's an amazing training that actually is coming from the heart. It's not just purely technical, you guys, but he was able to bring it on to all of us by truly incorporating that particular the MVP business builder challenge and customer MVP super sales. What's the name of that? Promotion and incentive, but he was able to weave in that emotional attachment that we have. It's the culture, you guys, and he is right. You know, sometimes Kai Hayes is very, very protective of you guys because I love you from the bottom of my heart. And I'm here, Blue, in the Philippines. I just wanted to let you know I will be here for 2 months again. So
awesome. I didn't know that, but that'll help too, because when we connect, I'll go through you to know where we need to be and where the excitement is and where we can use the most done. So
because later I'm going to meet these leaders. We have here our latest Pro 6 Madel, Celine Dong, and we also have a bunch of Pro 5s led by, of course, Ella and Jennifer Tutanes. And who else are the Pro 5s are here? And we have a bunch of Pro 4s and new Pro 3s. Hopefully that Blue said that we will have more Pro 3s in the very future. But however, if you guys have 1 or 2 questions, I will probably let Blue entertain 1 or 2 questions because he's going to run to another meeting. We still have just a few times. Is there any questions from our leaders, you guys? Ella?
No question, just inspiration. Thank you so much, Blue. I'm just so electrified, excited.
I'm glad. Ella, you are a ball of fire, and keep that excitement going. Keep leading because we love you and you are on the right track. Blue will definitely, and Raylene, his wife, you're going to enjoy her so much. My goodness. She will be visiting the Philippines, and that is fantastic. And also, one of these days, you'll be meeting Chris Michaels. And anybody from our leaders right now, Pro 5s, Pro 4s, and Madel, are you still here with us? I'm sure you have a bunch of questions, but Blue will definitely be willing to answer one of your questions out there. Unmute yourselves, you guys. Don't be shy.
In addition, I'm doing it in the beginning of the presentation. Always the promos. I find it very exciting, and reverse it, that who wanted an extra 5,000, strengthening, building your team, like 25,000 or 75,000. And then, flow it in your veins. If you'd love to get it, work for it. Then I'll explain the details. Just like, deduction news. Here is the 75,000 places starting now July to January, and how to do it. Here are the details. That's it.
Thank you, Ella.
That's the part I wasn't sure on the numbers. I'll just add this. That's the excitement news piece. And then my suggestion is to add, and somewhere within that presentation, add the concept, right? Because that money is awesome, but there's some people that might show up. I had some multi-millionaires that showed up to some of my meetings, and numbers like that may or may not be a big deal. It's a lot of money, but may or may not. What will be a big deal is longevity and building something correctly and having it be here for the long haul. So what you can do is use that excitement to get them listening. And then on top of that, we're going to show you how to build a business correctly, build it long-term, and take away the negative stigma that some MLMs have given other countries and in the US and in the Philippines. We all know some of them, because they don't build correctly, they build the wrong way, and they don't build with the long-term in mind. They build for instant bonuses and instant trips and instant vacations, which are awesome. But I would rather take my wife on a trip every month the rest of my life than qualify for one trip short term, right? And so that's why it's inspiring to go to places like the Philippines, also do some business, but appreciate it, because that's what I'm trying to help people develop, is the long-term benefit coupled with the short-term finances that you just shared so eloquently. And it's a fun way to do it. And your personality is so perfect for that kind of introduction. Mine, I would do it a little different. I might teach them and then say, hey, let me show you how to build this correctly at the end. But the way you do that is awesome. Don't change. You guys all have your own style. It'll be awesome. So thank you.
Your signature, Ella. Thank you. And like Blue mentioned, I second the motion. Do not be just kind of like attracted to the glitters of some of other groups, that instant gratification. You guys, this is not a sprint. This is a marathon. So it's okay. Just focus on what you're doing and follow the system, because like Blue said, we are building a sustainable business. Because with Blue and I's experience, I'm telling you guys, there's a lot of people that really ranked advance so fast. And you know what? After a few years, 3 years, 5 years, they're all gone. But Blue and I are here for 12 years. So, you know, it's the commitment, right? And we are solidly earning also our rank. That's why we qualify on the elite retreat and all that, and all these fantastic incentive programs. So that's what you need to aim for. Don't focus on, oh, here, I'm going to give you this, I'm going to give you all this, and then all of a sudden, boom, you're not going to be happy, okay? So don't be duped by all those offers. Well, normally human nature, we are like that, but please do not be like, you know, always looking for instant gratification, because it's not pure. It's a fake gold. We need a real gold. So Madel is unmuting herself a while ago because she has some question for you, Blue.
Okay, I don't have a question. I'm so inspired by just listening to the training.
Wonderful. It's also nice to hear that from you. Yes, this is it. We're doing it, and every month we're just doing this on the 6th right now, or because of the July 4th. Normally we do this every 1st of the month, Tuesday of the month, but this is exclusively for Pro 3s and above. If there are some people who wants to join next time, well, please let us help them to become Pro 3. So that
and I'll
they
share
will
one more
be,
thing real quick.
sure,
Yeah,
Blue.
bring all the Pro 3s, because last night, the reason I couldn't come on last night is we had family in town, and we have our Independence Day, 4th of July celebration in the States. We had fireworks and everything. But guess who came? We went to a country concert and listened to a country singer and played. But guess who they had open the whole event? They had a guy, and I forget his name right now. I'll have to go look it up. But you can check. He carried a flag in and started the event, because that part of him carrying the flag was finishing a marathon. That was the end of his marathon. You just said it's not a sprint, it's a marathon. But I want to tell you why it was special, because he was finishing a marathon. This guy is known for doing something that no one else that I know has done. He did 76 marathons, right? Just one marathon would be an amazing thing. He did 76, right? But here's the last piece. He did them in 76 days. He did a marathon every single day for 76 days. And he got on stage and inspired us with that concept that you just said. You get in a rhythm, you do it right, you do it for the right reasons. And his reasons were patriotic and doing it to get people's attention and to do the right thing and to think about God more. And he had some cool advice. But the bottom line was he did 76 in 76 days. That's 26 miles plus every day for 76 days. It was over 2,000 miles that he ran in 76 days. So anyways, that inspired me. I was there in tears thinking, man, I thought we inspired some people. That guy was awesome. He started the whole event. So I wasn't there last night, but we were able to do this tonight. But we'll try to keep it on Tuesday just so it's consistent. But if there ever is a time we need to bump it, we'll try to make sure you're aware so you have time to make those changes. But we'll try not to change it, but when we have to, we will. So thank you so much.
Blue, you are muted.
Sorry, I hit the wrong button. I was said I'll let you guys finish. I'll turn it back to you, but love you guys. Hope that's inspiring. Some cool stuff that I was inspired by, and we'll come and share and be part of you guys as soon as we can. So thank you all.
But before you leave, guys, can you turn on your camera? I'll take a picture of you guys and give me a big smile with Blue, our first Pro 3 and above training. Say cheers, everyone. Yeah, show your faces. Show your faces. We're not gonna bite you. Yes, yes, yes. Okay. At the count 2, 1, 2, 3, we're gonna take the shot. Good to see your handsome and beautiful faces. Goodness. Okay. 1, 2, 3. All right, you guys. Thank you so much, Blue. Again, what a wonderful, inspiring, as Madel said, inspiring training. So bring in your Pro 3s and above next time. And in the meantime, I'm going to tell you that we have a road show coming up, you guys, road show on July 16th. And it's confirmed by Mercia already. It is confirmed, you guys. So I'm going to tell you that we are going to be at the Aquamarine. This is it. And roadshow is basically for everybody. So it is not this team, that team, your team, their team. No, it's going to be, but I just want you to know that when you have prospects and you're not going to be there, hopefully you'll be there, you've got to tell them to approach Kai Hayes. Or if you have a speaker, you got to tell them to approach. I know you're frustrated because the moment we don't let people know that we are there, some people are just going to snap your guest. And so it's very dangerous. So as much as possible, we're going to stop that. Okay. So, but in the meantime, please tell them to approach me because, you know, we're going to protect them. We need to adapt our culture. The US culture is not like that. So it's safer. But I know this is a different culture, but we still need to change that attitude. All right. So I love you guys and I will see you today. 1 o'clock, Madel is going to have a business opportunity meeting and we are here to serve you. We have any announcements, you guys, leaders? You can just announce yourselves what we're going to have today. And Saturday, Beth Busa, our profile, will also have a Saturday 1 o'clock on Saturday. All of the Nueva Ecija, Batangas, you know, Makati or Manila will be also joining. But that is our team. This is an Eagle team, you guys. So everybody's welcome. The more we can cut up together, I think the more we can create that momentum very, very fast. So thank you so much. Yes,
may I announce for those leaders here after the presentation, the BOM, I will be doing the product presentation and Mark Narito will do the compensation plan. And he said he will be early because he will practice. And that will be his first. So let's support him, invite our guests. And
but I am out, Ate Madela. I'll be in Antipolo. I'm developing a leader there. Habol kami. Habol lang kami.
Ella,
leadership. Meron tayong leadership.
Ella, we have a leaders meeting after that 4 p.m. If you
sige,
can
habol kami, Ate, from Antipolo. Mababa kami.
Oh yeah, 4 p.m. onwards.
Leaders,
Hopefully maabutan ko kasi may seminar ako, Ate, ha? Kasi yung travel time pa.
All right. So make sure humabol ka, please.
Apa.
All right. See you later.
Bye,
See you later.